Do you think life happens on the surface? Do you really think politics is about speeches, business about products, social media about entertainment, success about talent? That is what the audience only sees. Behind every public moment, there is a hidden room. And inside that room, the real decisions are made. Because the most powerful people on earth do not react to reality the way ordinary people do. They study patterns, emotions, weaknesses, timing. While everyone else watches the show, they study the stage. And the dangerous part is this: most people never realize they are inside a game. You wake up, you scroll, you argue, you consume, you chase approval, you defend systems you never designed. And slowly, without noticing, your attention becomes someone else's weapon. Because power has evolved. The old kings used chains. Modern power uses distraction. Because no prison looks more convincing than freedom with invisible limits. You are allowed to speak, as long as your voice changes nothing. You're even allowed to dream, as long as your dreams remains profitable to someone else. And while millions fight each other publicly, real power quietly moves above the noise. Invisible, patient, and strategic. That is the game behind the game. So stick around and discover what powerful people see that you don't, the insight that could completely change the way you see life forever. Chapter 2, the first lesson of power. Powerful people understand something most people never learn. Human beings rarely move through logic. They move through emotion, fear, desire, status, validation, and hope. That is why the world is not controlled by the smartest voices, but by the voices that control emotional energy. The person who controls attention controls direction. The person who controls direction controls society. That is why headlines are designed like weapons. Why outrage spreads faster than wisdom. Why division is more profitable than unity. Because emotional people are predictable people. And predictable people are easy to guide. You think you are choosing, but often your emotions were selected before your opinions were formed. The ancient Stoics understood this centuries ago. A calm mind cannot easily be manipulated. That is why modern systems constantly attack your inner peace. Notifications, breaking news, artificial urgency, comparison culture, fear-driven narratives. A distracted population becomes easier to influence. And the moment you lose emotional control, someone else gains strategic control over you. That is the first hidden law of the game. If you cannot control your emotions, someone else will use them against you. Chapter 3, the architects of perception. The average person believes reality is what they see, but powerful people understand something deeper. Perception creates reality. If millions believe something, it becomes socially real, even if it is false. History has always belonged to those who mastered perception. Empires understood this. Religions understood this. Corporations understand this. Political strategists understand this. The battlefield was never only physical, it was psychological. Control the story, and you control the crowd. That is why image matters more than truth. Why confidence often defeats competence. Why symbols shape civilizations. A luxury brand is not selling fabric. It is selling identity. A politician is not selling policy. They are selling emotional security. An influencer is not selling content. They are selling aspiration. And once you understand this, you begin to see the hidden architecture everywhere. You realize entire systems are built on manufactured perception. The rich are not always richer because they work harder. Sometimes they simply understand human psychology better. They understand timing, narrative, positioning, silence, influence. While most people focus only on effort, powerful people focus on leverage, because one strategic move can outweigh 10 years of blind labor. If you've stayed with us until this point and found value in this video, we'd truly love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Your support, perspective, and engagement help keep these videos alive. Kindly subscribe to Mind's Goals and join us for more powerful conversations that will change the way you see life forever. Chapter 4, Why the Masses Stay Distracted. There is a reason distraction has become the currency of modern life. A focused human being is dangerous. A focused human being asks questions. A focused human being notices manipulation. But a distracted human being becomes easy to direct. So the world keeps you entertained. Constant noise, constant stimulation, constant comparison. You are never supposed to sit long enough to truly think, because silence creates awareness, and awareness creates independence. That is why ancient philosophers disappeared into solitude. That is why spiritual masters withdrew from noise. That is why leaders throughout history protected their minds more than their possessions. They understood, attention is life force. Where your attention goes, your future follows. And modern systems are competing violently for that attention, not because they care about you, but because attention can be monetized. Your fear can be monetized. Your insecurity can be monetized. And even your loneliness can be monetized. That's the game behind the game, and you're playing it. This game is not only about controlling money, it is about controlling your mental energy, because whoever shapes your mind eventually shapes your decisions. Chapter 5. The secret language of status. Powerful people rarely communicate directly. They communicate symbolically. Status symbols, body language, access, exclusivity, silence. Real influence often whispers. It does not scream. That is why the truly powerful are often difficult to read, because mystery creates authority. The loudest people in the room are usually fighting to appear powerful. The truly dangerous people rarely need to announce themselves. They understand psychological positioning. They understand that scarcity creates value, that restraint creates intrigue, that emotional discipline creates respect. And while ordinary people desperately seek validation, powerful people study leverage. Who controls access? Who controls information? Who controls resources? Who controls timing? Because power is not always visible. Sometimes the most influential person in the room is the one speaking the least. The Stoics knew this. Silence reveals strength. Emotional control reveals mastery. And patience terrifies impulsive people. Chapter 6. The illusion of the ladder. You were taught that success is linear. Study hard, work hard, follow rules, wait your turn. But the hidden world rarely operates like that. The game behind the game runs on networks, relationships, influence, perception, strategic alliances. Many doors do not open because someone deserves entry. They open because someone connected the right people at the right time. That is uncomfortable to admit, but power rarely moves fairly. It moves strategically. And once you understand this, you stop taking rejection personally. You realize the world is not only testing skill, it is testing positioning. Some people lose because they are weak. Others lose because they never understood the real board they were playing on. And the most dangerous mistake in life is believing the visible game is the only game. Because while ordinary people compete openly, powerful people quietly shape the rules themselves. Chapter 7. The breaking point. Then one day, you begin noticing patterns. The outrage cycles repeat. The distractions repeat. The manipulation repeats. The same emotional triggers. The same divisions. The same psychological games. And suddenly, the illusion starts cracking. You realize most people are reacting automatically, programmed by fear, programmed by social pressure, programmed by algorithms, programmed by approval addiction. And then comes the terrifying realization. If you do not consciously build your own mind, the world will build it for you. That is the moment the game changes. Because now, you are no longer asleep. You begin protecting your attention, protecting your peace, protecting your energy. You stop reacting instantly. You stop chasing every trend. You stop needing constant validation. And for the first time, you become difficult to manipulate. That is when true power begins. Not external power, internal power, the kind the Stoics spoke about. The ability to remain calm in chaos. To think independently in a world addicted to conformity. To stand still while society emotionally panics. That level of self-control frightens systems built on emotional dependency, because a person who governs themselves cannot easily be controlled by others. Chapter 8. The truth hidden beneath everything. The game behind the game. was never only about governments, or corporations, or elites, or secret rooms. The real battlefield has always been human consciousness. Your attention, your emotions, your perception, your identity. That is what everyone is competing for. Because once your mind is captured, your choices follow automatically. And the most powerful people understand this better than anyone. They know the greatest form of control is making people believe they are completely free while emotionally directing their behavior. You stop being merely a piece on the board. Awareness changes everything, because now you can observe manipulation without absorbing it. You can study emotions without obeying them. You can see distraction without surrendering to it. And suddenly, the invisible chains begin breaking. Chapter 9. The New Eyes. Now you walk differently through the world. You notice what others miss. You notice how fear spreads, how narratives are engineered, how status controls behavior, how attention shapes destiny. But instead of becoming paranoid, you become disciplined, because wisdom is not about hating the world. It is about seeing clearly through it. The goal is not to dominate others. The goal is mastery over yourself. To become impossible to manipulate through fear, impossible to control through validation, impossible to distract from your purpose. That is real freedom. And perhaps that is why truly awakened people often appear calm, because they understand something the world does not. The loudest battles are often distractions from the real war happening underneath. That's the war for the human mind. Most people will spend their entire lives reacting to a world they never truly examined. They will chase approval from strangers, fight battles designed by others, defend illusions they never questioned, and they will never realize the game was happening beneath the surface the entire time. But now, you have seen the hidden layer, the invisible mechanics, the emotional manipulation, the architecture of influence. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it, because powerful people were never magical. They simply learned to observe what others ignored: patterns, psychology, timing, human nature. The real question is no longer whether the game exists. The real question is, now that you can see it, what will you become?